it's time for your Gianna Volpe report, brought to you in part by Village Overhead Doors in Southold, Maximus Health and Fitness in Riverhead. Victor Giannini, author of the book Counselor, International Executive Protection, Waters Crest Winery, and Michael Evans, author of The Real Matrix.
Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning. So finally, a guest who's closer in age to me than to you.
Well, we've had guests that are close.
Well,
to
Susan
age.
Dingle is about the same age as me.
My mother.
Your mother.
My father.
Wait, your mother. Your mother saw people. Last time, Your Honor, the last time she was up here, which was 2 weeks ago, her mom brought a container of homemade marinara.
Ooh.
Which we saved until we had an important occasion, like there was nothing to eat for dinner. And it was like to die for.
I am so excited to have Suffolk County Supreme Court Justice, the Honorable Arthur Pitts, up with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning to you. It's so good to be here, and good morning to all your listeners out there.
All 6 of them.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
come on. Riverhead hangs on your every word, Bruce.
Oh, yeah. Is that true, Your Honor? I mean, you know.
Oh, I hear your name bandied about from time to time, quite frankly.
Oh, yeah?
Read the local papers and all that. I see you.
Oh, okay.
You're a known figure.
Thank you. As long as my picture isn't in a post office, I'm doing good.
Fine.
You know? Because then I would have to probably see you in a professional.
Yeah, if you see me, you want to be on jury duty.
Yeah, I don't want to do it, on the other side of the thing there. No.
I've never been on a jury. I think I'd be good.
They're great. It's years and years ago. This is back in the 80s, right before you ran for Babble supervisor. I was called to jury duty in Cadman Plaza.
Really?
And Judge Jack Weinstein was the judge. And they do the whole voir dire thing. It's like a cattle call almost, if you're familiar with, auditioning for a part on a commercial or something.
It's very interesting.
It really is. It's fascinating. And they picked the jury, we were impaneled, and then they settled like before they started.
Before I started law school, I was in that same position in Nassau County. I got called for jury duty. I got selected for a jury, and I really wanted to sit on a jury to see what it was like. And I went back the next day, and they'd settled the case.
And I was really disappointed because it's like, see how the federal court operates,
I tell jurors this all the time because that happens in court, and I'll be the one that has to go down to the jury room and dismiss the jury. And I'll explain to them that their presence is what settled the case. We call it the patter of their little feet. It makes lawyers more reasonable, and they settle their cases. Happens a significant amount of time.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Can we turn the hands of time back to the mid-'80s?
Sure.
Oh, do it, Bruce.
Back in those days, Babylon Town was and the natives called it Babylon, not Babylon.
Right.
Right? It was Babylon.
Yep.
Like a Babylon brook.
Like a Babylon brook, except they didn't. They also dropped G's too over there, which I'm always amazed with your middle initial. They actually pronounced it.
So
but
they
that's,
called me Iana?
Yeah, they would call you Gianna. They called him, Arthur Pitts. They didn't get into the G part.
Oh, they called me a lot of things.
Oh, I know. But in those days, Babylon was such a Republican stronghold. I really thought, and I was working at WGLI in those days, which is no longer on the air. But I really thought, I'm saying to myself, how is this unknown guy going to unseat a sitting supervisor who's been a county legislator, a presiding officer of the county legislature?
Oh, wow. I didn't know
Tony
his
Noto.
background either.
Very popular. How did you do it?
I wish that I knew. I truly believe that my first time I ran for office, that I was in the right place at the right time. I think that almost anybody would have won that year, only because I believe that although he had been very popular, I think Tony Noto had become very unpopular. And I think Bob Matheson from the Oak Beach...
Oh, was that... You think that was the killer item for Noto, was the Save the Oak Beach Inn deal?
It was Save the Oak Beach Inn, and it was vote against Noto, vote against the slime. There were posters put up all over Long Island as far as the Midtown Tunnel.
Wow.
Telling people how to vote in that election. He wasn't telling people to vote for me. He was telling people to vote against Noto. And I think that had an enormous effect, and I think that probably is what put me over the top. So I don't really take any credit for getting elected the first time. I'll take some credit for getting reelected in a Republican town, and I'll take some credit for it never having gone back to the Republican side since then.
Which is so interesting.
Yeah, it was a sea change in Babylon politics.
Because I think, it's like I'm trying to think of when I first started actually looking at Babble in politics. I think Ray Almendinger was the supervisor in those days.
Ray had been supervisor before Tony Noto. Ray's wife was on the town board with me when I got elected in 1987. Yeah.
How did that work out?
Well, there had been a Democratic supervisor before in the town, I think maybe twice in the history of the town. And when I got elected in 1987, I also was elected with 2 town board members, and that became the first time in the history of the town of Babylon there was a Democratic majority on the Babylon Town Board. So there were significant changes that took place in Town Hall. There were long-time people who had worked in the town who now no longer had a job. And so there was a lot of bitterness over that, and there was a lot of new ground to cover. And it was a very, very exciting time.
And correct me if I'm wrong, one of those new town board members in Babylon was a fellow by the name of Pat Halpin.
Pat Halpin was elected county executive the same time that I got elected as supervisor, and I think that also probably had an effect on my election because Pat was very, very popular in the town, and I believe that I got into office in some respect on his coattails too.
Pat was an interesting citizen as a councilman in Babylon town, Gianna, because he was known for the way he dealt with people and constituent service.
How did he do it?
He was just really good at it. And it didn't matter if you were a Republican or a Democrat. If you came to see him with an issue, he helped you resolve it.
Yeah, he had been a state assemblyman for, I think, 6 or 8 years before he got elected as county executive, and he was remarkably well known for that exact thing.
I would imagine that Ed Romaine would be like that as a politician.
Yeah, I mean, that said, we have to leave the judge out of this part of the conversation because it's politics. But I think Ed is pretty much the same way. But then again, I've known Ed since he was a county legislator back in 1987.
Let me ask you, what was 1987 like for you then? What did you do? What was your first...
It was an incredible change for me because, as Bruce has indicated, it had been a Republican town for so long, and I really...
Well, and you were new to politics, so
I didn't think I had any chance of winning. So I campaigned as hard as I could because I wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to get my name out and build my law practice, but I never once thought that I had any chance of winning. And about 20 minutes after 9 on election night, a woman at our headquarters yelled over, "Pitts, you won the 24th in Lindenhurst. No Democrat has ever won that district. You're going to win this election."
Oh, my God.
And my entire world changed.
What was the Bellwether ED in Babylon town in those days? Was it that one in Lindenhurst?
Well, the 24th had been a Republican district for years, or forever.
Yeah.
Okay? And what's interesting to me now is there are now more registered Democrats in the town than there are Republicans.
That amazes me, but part of it also is the Republicans in Suffolk County historically do really poor outreach. Which in Nassau County, and this goes back to us, because we're close in age, in the 70s particularly, Nassau's Republican machine, I mean, they were well-oiled. Every night, the night before Election Day, there were bags that were on the doors, with all the tchotchkes in it, vote for us, and it didn't matter if you were a Republican or a Democrat. They went down every single door on Merrick Avenue.
It was amazing. I grew up in Nassau County, and so I grew up as a student of politics and watching the local politics there. And they still continue to have an amazing machine in Nassau County.
And in Suffolk, I don't think anybody's ever knocked on my door.
Really?
Ever. But
one of the great things about campaigning that I always enjoyed was knocking on people's doors.
Isn't that fun?
Walking election districts and just talking to people and getting a sense, take their pulse and see what they're thinking about.
Mm-hmm. What was your slogan?
Time for change.
All right. And so what did you do when you got in? What was one of the first things that you did?
The first thing I did when I got in was I signed an executive order taking the guns away from the public safety officers.
Huh.
The public safety officers in the town of Babylon were not police officers. They were mostly retired police officers, and they were working, a couple of hours a week, maybe, patrolling the parks and all that. And there had been a big issue concerning the use of force, and I decided that these fellas were honorable, loyal people, and why should they take a chance on getting killed?
Right.
Because they were making about $8 an hour. So I took their guns away.
And
I told them, look, you get in a problem, you call the police. That's what they're there for.
Right. I think my father is a health officer. He's been doing it for decades now over in Jersey, and I think he used to carry a firearm as well. And now it's a situation where, if there's a guy chasing you around a store with a butcher knife, call the police. Get police
now,
backup.
The other thing, and the real reason that the judge is here, is that, and I didn't know this. I didn't know this at all, but apparently he has a thing for tickling ivory.
Yes. So, when
was the last time you heard that expression, Your Honor? Come on, honest.
Honestly, I do hear it from time to time.
Really?
But mostly from people our age.
Well, there you go.
So usually, the Supreme Court Justice is at Tweed's Restaurant and Buffalo Bar the first Friday of every month. But he will not be there this first Friday. He'll be there October 21st and 22nd. So if you want to see him play October 21st and 22nd at Tweed's Restaurant and Buffalo Bar, which is where we met.
That's right.
He does all the American Songbook, right? Is that how you refer to it?
I do the Great American Songbook. Lately, I've tried to update the repertoire a little bit because I recognize that those of us that truly enjoy the Great American Songbook are dwindling in numbers, and I need to appeal to a larger audience. So as I move more towards my retirement, when I would hope to play piano a couple of nights a week in restaurants, I understand that I have to broaden that appeal and play things more from the 70s and 80s and the same
Yeah, but
kind of
somehow,
music.
Don't Go Breaking My Heart just doesn't stand up really well next to Because of You or Unforgettable. You know what I mean?
It doesn't. It doesn't.
It just doesn't.
My favorite is that he wears a piano tie.
I wear a piano tie. I have piano suspenders that I wear.
Yes, he
Do
does.
you?
Yes, I do.
That's what it is.
You have
It's
to-
been too long.
You have to look the part, you know.
Well,
And he
that's what they
does.
say, yeah.
He always does.
Then the other thing, you're a Supreme Court judge. You've been doing that for a long time.
I've been a Supreme Court judge for 17 years, and before that I was a county court judge for 7 years. So I've been a judge for 24 years.
So how do you like that?
I love it. What's not to like? You walk into the room and everybody has to stand up.
I love
Because you have
that.
to understand that it's not you, the person, it's you, the robe, and the position that you have.
Yes.
Oh.
And when you walk out of there, the one thing I hate is I hate walking across a parking lot and have somebody yell from the other side of the parking lot, "Hey, Judge, how are you?" Because I don't want people outside to know that I'm a judge.
Okay.
Why? I'm just curious.
Because every time you issue a ruling or decide
Oh,
a case,
yeah.
you make one person very happy and one person very unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
And there are unhappy campers out there.
Wow.
That's true.
I
That's
just
true.
realized I've been a judge my whole life, and I didn't know that. I'm a very polarizing person because people either love me or they hate me, and I don't know why. What are you going to do?
It goes with the territory.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's okay. I'm so glad that you came up here. Will you come back?
It's my pleasure. I'd be happy to come back.
Yay!
I love to talk to people, and I love being on the radio, although, quite frankly, given the fact that I've been a judge for 24 years, this is the first time in 24 years I've been on the radio. But I used to be on a lot when I was Babble Town Supervisor.
Were you on the station I used to work at?
I believe I was on there, yeah. And I was on Walk FM. I used to get called all the time for comment by Walk FM.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because they don't even do news anymore over there.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
They don't do news.
How times have changed. And they used to be one of the leading Long Island
Yeah,
news
they were the one. It was them, in those days, them, WGBB, WGLI,
Right.
WGSM. We're throwing call letters around like they're alphabet soup.
Yeah.
But those
But
were the
you
ones.
always know.
Those were the four.
They used to have Walk FM on all the time at the Suffolk County Legislature.
Really?
Yep. So they could monitor what was going on locally. Yeah.
How did you go from
We shouldn't let
Babylon
Frank
Town
Brinken know, though, should we?
supervisor to Supreme Court Justice? Like, how is that trajectory like?
After I got reelected twice as Babble Town Supervisor, and I was looking for something different to do because, quite frankly, although I loved my first 2 years as Town Supervisor, by year 3, I wanted to get out of the job. It's a very difficult job to constantly put up with the pressures. And an opportunity came to run for county court. And I took it. I had been a lawyer, and I loved the court system, and it gave me an opportunity to get out of Babylon and to move out to the East End out here, because I moved out here 2 years after I became a judge, and I've been out here ever since.
Well, we're very happy to have you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
We are, next up, we're going to have one of our sponsors, Victor Giannini, the author of The Counselor, right here on the Gianna Volpe Report.
An overhead door serves a purpose, and it should be as beautiful as the rest of your home or building. For more than 30 years, Village Overhead Doors has been creating and installing beautiful garage doors for contractors and homeowners on the North and South Forks. They also install automatic garage door openers that open with the click of a remote, so there's no getting out of the car in bad weather. For a wide range of styles, from lifetime steel doors to custom-made wood doors, and for all your garage door needs, please call 765-4963 today and find out how your garage door can be a beautiful focal point of your home or building's exterior. Village Overhead Doors of Southold, 765-4963. Make the call and let them add beauty and value to your home or business.
Maximus Health and Fitness of Riverhead is 25,000 square feet of everything you need to create a new you. Maximus Health and Fitness, 130 East Main Street, has state-of-the-art exercise equipment, free weights, professional personal trainers, and private workout areas. They're next to the Suffolk Theater in the heart of historic downtown Riverhead. Use their child facilities, tanning stations, a hair salon, and smoothie bar with your membership at Maximus. Your membership also includes a full calendar of fitness classes like cross-training, weight training, boot camp, Zumba, spin, yoga, Pilates, and a lot more. Start a new, healthier lifestyle that you can stick with all year long. Join Maximus Health and Fitness, 130 East Main Street in Riverhead. Call 369-6293. 369-6293. Check their website at maximusriverhead.com or come on in to Maximus Fitness today. Maximus Health and Fitness, being healthy and getting in shape has never been easier.
Every villain thinks they're a hero, especially on the east end of Long Island. Timothy Dune is one such man. He's a tortured soul, and you won't be able to put down Victor Giannini's new novel, Counselor, as you're reading about him and what could happen to the East End. Roger Rosenblatt of Time magazine called Counselor an important piece of work. Robert Reeve says Counselor is compelling and will linger in your mind. Don't bury your head in the newspaper or in the sand. Read Counselor, Victor Giannini's new novel, available in paperback or on Kindle from Amazon.com or Silverthought.com. Counselor, the story of what once was an idyllic place that's become home to McMansions and private estates and its effect on one person. Counselor by Victor Giannini, available on Amazon.com.